O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
You know that feeling when you're walking alone in the woods and suddenly the hair on the back of your neck just stands up?
Oh, yeah.
The wind drops, everything gets unnervingly quiet, and you just feel completely exposed. Well, the ancient Greeks actually had a name for that exact terrifying feeling. They blamed it on Pan.
Right.
So in this deep dive, we are taking a look at your notes to explore this ancient god, the terrifying power of the shadowless noon, and what this actually means for your own psychology today. Because Pan, I mean, he isn't some civilized guy in a toga making laws.
Oh, far from it. He is, well, he's half goat, half man. He represents the untamed, totally messy margins of the wilderness. He is basically the physical embodiment of the imminent now. You know, that raw survival instinct.
Yeah, just pure instinct.
Exactly. And interestingly, his domain isn't just physical. He actually rules a very specific and deeply feared time of day, high noon.
Okay, let's unpack this, because
Yeah,
we usually think of midnight as the spooky hour.
Oh, yeah.
But at exactly 12 p.m., depending on your latitude, obviously, you can hit what astronomers call the subsolar point. That just means the sun is perfectly vertically overhead, the light hits the earth straight down, so shadows completely vanish. It is like the universe turning on those awful fluorescent overhead lights at the end of a party.
That is such a great way to put it. There are no shadows left to hide your messy realities in. And what's fascinating here is how universal that tension is. Like, if you look at native Hawaiian culture, they have a term for this exact astronomical event called Lahaina Noon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they add this profound psychological layer to it. They believe that when your shadow disappears from the ground, it doesn't just vanish, it actually conceptually retreats right into your body.
Wait, really? So your shadow literally goes inside you?
Symbolically, yes. Your shadow often represents, your hidden flaws and the parts of yourself you just do not want the world to see. So when it disappears from the outside world, you are forced to swallow it.
You have to face it internally.
Exactly. It creates this incredibly vulnerable union of your internal darkness and the external blinding light.
Man, that sounds intense.
Yeah.
And for the ancient Greeks, this heavy, sensory-distorting midday heat was when Pan supposedly took his nap.
Right.
And the absolute rule was that you observe a sacred silence at noon.
Because if you violate that silence with human labor or loud noise, you wake the sleeping god. And he doesn't just wake up cranky, he lets out this ear-shattering supernatural shout that induces just irrational, highly contagious terror.
Which is literally the origin of the word panic.
Yes. It was considered a force so overwhelming that it allegedly caused the highly disciplined Persian army to break formation. They just fled blindly at the Battle of Marathon.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
But is there an actual psychological purpose to that kind of panic? Or is it just our ancient lizard brains malfunctioning?
Well, it's less a malfunction and more of a brutal reality check, I think. It is the humbling realization that human logic, our societal rules and reason, hold absolutely no jurisdiction in the wild. Nature just always wins.
But wait, how do we get from a goat man hiding in the bushes scaring soldiers to the really deep psychological stuff in the notes? That seems like a massive leap.
It comes down to a profound linguistic coincidence, actually. In ancient Greek, the word pan sounds exactly like their word for all. So over centuries, this transformed him from a rustic woodland sprite into the personification of the entire universe.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting. He becomes the ultimate paradox, like in modern esoteric art, where he's depicted wearing a necrotic animal skull.
Right, representing the devourer of life.
Yeah, while simultaneously cradling these fragile, vibrant sparks of life in his hands as the begetter.
He embodies both creation and destruction. It is why the occultist Aleister Crowley invoked him to achieve ego dissolution. He called it a state, the night of Pan, where the individual self is destroyed to merge with the universe.
And Carl Jung took a more clinical approach to that, right?
He did. He called this the shadow self. It is essentially the basement of your mind where you lock away all your messy, primitive urges to maintain a civilized veneer.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? This actually brings us directly to the personal experience you shared in your notes. You mentioned having a terrifying dream of Pan exactly at noon.
Yeah, I did.
And then waking up, immediately seeing the mere hour, 12:21, and then sharing that moment with your sister.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that specific sequence is deeply meaningful. Having that ancient shadow archetype manifest in your dream at the absolute peak of solar consciousness implies something huge. It means the boundaries between your waking ego and your deep unconscious have completely collapsed.
Wow.
Yeah. And the number sequence 1221 signifies a major internal reflection. Sharing it with a sibling who acts as a mirror to your own soul grounds what is otherwise a deeply destabilizing experience.
That makes total sense.
It perfectly sets the stage for an aurora dawn, which is a psychological narrative where a kind of spiritual death is followed by a newly illuminated rebirth.
It really highlights that Pan isn't just an old myth. He represents the absolute necessity of integrating your raw, primal instincts. I mean, you can't just pave over the wild parts of your own mind.
No, you really can't.
You can't lock your shadow in the basement forever. Eventually, it demands to be felt.
Exactly. And this raises an important question for all of us today. In our hyper-connected, artificially illuminated modern world, we have largely paved over nature.
We really have. Have we permanently banished the sacred silence of the shadowless noon? Because if we never allow ourselves to sit in that uncomfortable, blinding silence, we might just be losing our crucial ability to listen to the wild, both outside us and deep within ourselves.